Namanda, 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 namanda.
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's Hatsubon and Obon service. My name is Hiko Shimamoto and I'll be your chairperson today. Sensei will now explain the Hatsubon service procedures.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now, is that better? Okay. Nice to see so many here. Thank you for coming to this 2024 Obon Hatsubon service. We had a very successful Bon Odori last night with so many people here, and I think we made a right choice to move this service to 1 o'clock, and not just because it's easier to wake up, but there's a lot that happened last night, and just to have the time to process it, and things come back in your memory of people you have met and things that you saw, things that you shared, and all of this kind of bubbles back up as we get ready in the morning. So it's very nice. For this Hatsubon service, kind of similar to our monthly memorial, the Shotsuki service, we're going to read the names of those that we have lost between last Obon and this Obon. And this year we have 6 names, and with the reading of the names, we would like to have the families come up and offer incense or shoko. One member of the family will receive a gift from the temple presented by our temple president, Jane Naito. Okay. So we will begin with this. And Takeko Sueyasu, Shaku Kyoshin, teacher of heart, mind, and spirit. The Sueyasu family was not able to attend today. Harry Hisashi Hara, Shaku Keijun, to inherit purity. Dennis Tetsushi Nakai, Shaku Kakucho, to become aware and clear. Mrs. Haruko Shintani, Shaku Hoka, rare and precious flower. Diane Matsuoka Shakuni Tokuho, Fragrance of Virtue. We've called the name Dennis Tetsushi Nakai. The family has arrived, so please come up in Oshoko. Linda Hayano. Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. We'll now have Sambujo on page 24, followed by the reading of the Hyobakumun.
Hyobyakumon. Today, on this occasion of the Obon Hatsubon service for 2024, we gather to express our gratitude to all things and beings which make our lives possible. In our recognition of the interdependency and impermanence of all of life, we are made to see the preciousness of each and every person, who in their own special way manifest their unique color and light. In the spirit of Obon, let us reflect upon our own limited views and begin to radiate warmth and understanding towards others, so that we may discover a deeper meaning and fulfillment in our shared lives. In this moment of meditation, we remember our loved ones. We express our love, respect, and gratitude. We endeavor to listen to their voiceless voice, urging us to awaken to the truths of the Dharma. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Now we will have sutra chanting, Sambutsuge, on page 79.
Udo, Kensho, 因用語者諸仏世界無不影無種節度光明師匠遠視小国行税精進維持難病ヨガサブ国土第一五種奇妙道場上絶国領内音二無道祖ガト愛民道ラス一切実法来生心熱症状意図過国経楽反論法仏信妙世が心象本願の意力少々欲自法生存知恵無下常用子孫知が信病軽量心身食道不住家業精進因受不軽
Please stand for the Gatha. Obon Obon is Festival Day on page 186. Remain standing for the reading of the three treasures on page 8.
three treasures on page 8. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in a life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Please be seated.
Now Reverend Fujimoto will share a Dharma message with us.
It's always special to come to our Hatsubon service, and the family groups are here joining our temple members and additional people. Makes it look like we're full. Makes me feel like I'm popular. So it's very nice. So today, particularly during the Obon, we have endured loss in our families and particularly the Hatsubon families, someone very dear in their families has been lost between the time of the last Obon and this Obon. And so the first year is always a difficult time, and we share this together. We support each other. We take turns being strong and weaker, and we are able to access the strength of people in our families and friends that we have as we go through waves of the grieving process. So this is always very prominent during the Obon season. And to reflect upon last night, we come and there were a few people that were so happy to come. They don't always come to service, and more likely come to the Obon festival, and they dance. But they tell me, we were dancing under our family lanterns, and so they touched their heart, and it means something. They are touched by this connection to their family, to the Nembutsu practice. And so each of us, at different times, we endure the loss of someone dear to us, and when we hear the lessons, the teachings of the Dharma, sometimes it impacts us, sometimes it kind of slowly settles into our minds. And so this year in particular, for myself, I lost my cousin, and we had a service in Los Angeles on Wednesday. So Tuesday night we had our third Odori practice, and the next morning I flew out very early to join the most of the Fujimoto family to recognize the loss of Susan Fujimoto. She's a couple years older than myself, and so because not that old, there's a lot of people there. A lot of friends were there, and friends and family and connections from the past have not been there for a number of years, and to see them, you go to these, and it's kind of like reunion time when we go to our funerals, and everyone else got older. Not me, but everyone else, right? And so we kind of feel that way as we go through these losses. And just yesterday, we had a visitor come in, and she came into the Hondo, and she had never been to the Alameda Temple. She lives nearby in Albany, and talking about what's going on. She had lost her sister a couple years ago and were not able to have a service, and so it meant something to her to come to our Obon service. And as we're talking, she asked me, "What was your name again?" So Fujimoto. And so, are you connected to some of the Fujimotos in Southern California? So yeah. And she said, "Yeah, I know a Susan Fujimoto. They just had a service for her. I was going to go to her service, but I couldn't make it." Right? So she knew my cousin, right? So she's kind of going on and on. At first, wasn't sure, but now we have this connection. And she says, "Yeah, my sister's name is Terry, and she was connected. She was dear friends with Susan's sister, Terry. So there's two Terrys, one in her family, one in our family, and they were very, very close. And so Terry Fujimoto has passed away maybe 8-10 years ago, and then her sister Terry passed away just a couple years ago. So there's some kind of connection out of the blue, and this happens often when we come to the temple, finding some kind of connection for our families. So this morning before service, I sent an email to my cousin, 3 sisters, and 1 remains. So I told her of this chance meeting with the family here that just happened to come to our Obon and visit. And so these are kind of things that we have as we lose people in our lives. You know, we come to the funeral service, and we hear the story of the mustard seed and the mother who has lost a child and struggling with how to deal with and accept the loss, the death. Okay, and after our service, we read the white ashes, and these are prominent readings that we have in our Shin Buddhist tradition, and reminding us of how we are to look upon the loss, the grieving, and accepting death. And gradually, as we hear these stories, we hear it, and when it's someone else, maybe a auntie or someone else's family, it's kind of a distance in the teachings. But when it's someone very dear, a brother, a mother, a father, then our heart is wide open and we listen, and the story impacts us differently. So we hear the same story again and again. We come to Obon again and again, but depending on where we are and how we are in our lives, who we have lost recently, it impacts us that much more. So I would like to go through the story of the Ulambana Sutra, that the Obon story. But before I do this, I wanted to share a Native American story. Okay, it's a very short story about a grandpa and his grandson, and telling grandson about the story of the 2 wolves. So grandson's about 5 years old and likes to spend time with grandpa, and grandpa always has nice stories for him to teach him about life and how to get along and things. So they're going on this walk and a journey just with each other. And so they stop for a moment and maybe having some snack, and so grandpa told them, "I want to tell you about the story of the 2 wolves." And grandson is listening intently to what grandpa might say, and so watching his grandpa and eating his snack. And grandpa tells him, inside every person there are 2 wolves, and they are each very strong, and each wolf, one wolf is very greedy, tries to get all he can get, and he lives his life like this, trying to position himself to get the most food, to get things that would benefit himself. And the other wolf is more concerned with others. He tries to look after his family, and he's trying to share not only food for himself, but he shares it with everyone else. But these 2 wolves, they don't get along, and so they battle all the time. And so The grandson is listening, stops for a moment. Then he looks up, Grandpa, which wolf wins? And Grandpa tells him, the one that you feed. So with that, the grandson is listening and takes that lesson and tries to think about, what did Grandpa say? What does this mean? Okay. So this is I really enjoy this story and appreciate this story. And I think when we come to our Buddhist sutra stories, they're quite different. They are more like climbing over barbed wire, and you get stuck here and there and here and there. And so you don't really get to the point or appreciate the story. So with that, now I'll tell the story of Moggallana. The Obon story is about the Ulambana Sutra, and Ulambana is translated into Urabon, which becomes Obon. Okay, so the Ulambana Sutra means hanging upside down. Okay, so this is our views of the world, how we see things is always upside down. Like I think of bats, they hanging upside down and they see things inverted, the wrong way. So the Buddhist lesson is to correct our view of how we see the world. Okay, so in this Ulambana Sutra, there's a Moggallana who's one of the key disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha, and through his meditation practice, he learned this ability to see into other realms of existence. Okay, in the Buddhist lore, there are different realms of existence. So in heavenly beings, human beings, and different realms of fighting spirits, beasts, and lower, okay, in realms of hell. And so he was able to look into these different realms. He had lost his mother, and she was a great mother, very nice and kind and supportive, and always helped him to grow. So he thought for sure she'd be in one of these heavenly realms, and he wanted to use his meditative powers, find her, see her in her, how she's living, existing after she has passed away. So he scanned into all these heavenly realms and could not find her. So he thought this was funny. He looked into the human realms, could not find her. So, oh no, this must be some kind of mistake. I can't even see, can't find my mother. Surely she could not have fallen into one of these lower levels of existence. So he looked lower and he looked lower. Finally, he found her in one of the hells of hungry ghosts, okay? And in this realm of hungry ghosts, they're not able to eat. And so he tried to meditate and provide food for her to eat. And even when she would try to take a bite of the food that he provided, it would burst into flames, and she could not have that meal that was provided by Moggallana. Okay, so he couldn't understand, why would she be in this hell? She was a great mother. Okay, so he went to Shakyamuni Buddha, told him he found his mother in this hellish existence, and how could that be? So the Buddha told him that she had fallen into this hellish realm because she was always, even though she was looking after you, she was looking after you more than she was looking after other people, right? She was not looking after everyone equally, but she would fight as hard as she could to provide for her son, right? And so in a sense, everything we say about our mothers on Mother's Day are the exact same reasons that she had fallen into hell. Okay? Not thinking about everyone, but thinking about my son over her son, right? And this is how we live as human beings. So even though to Moggallana, she was the most wonderful mother in the overall view of the Buddhist perspective, the Buddha's perspective of looking at compassion, it's not even. is way one-sided to her own family, to her own siblings, to her own child. So because of this, she had fallen into hell. So Moggallana asked the Buddha, is there anything I can do to help her to move to a different realm? So the Buddha told him, well, maybe you can provide a feast to all of his disciples, bring food and drinks, and have them enjoy a wonderful feast, and maybe she'll be able to change her position from the hellish realms. So he made this big otoki meal, and they all gathered and had a nice meal, and they were very, very happy and sitting with each other, enjoying their own company. And then he looked again at the realm, and his mother had moved from this realm of hell into the realm of heavenly beings, okay? Because he was sharing with all people and not just particular people, okay? And through that, she was transported to another realm, okay? And so all the people at the feast were very happy that this was successful, so they all started to dance. And this was the beginning of the Bon Odori, okay? So this is the story. So when we hear this story, questions come up, how come? What did the mother do? Why did she fall into hell? Is there even a hell? Are we supposed to believe there's a hell, right? And is this what happens when we pass away? Is this what Buddhists expect us to think about? Is this how Buddhist life goes? Are we going to fall into these different realms of existence? What does that mean? And we have all these questions, barbed wire. We get stuck on every part of the story. And so we don't just accept it as a story that's holding these truths. Is it fact or fiction? Is it a myth or is it reality? Was it historical? What is it? And we get stuck in the story. So this is why I told the story from the Native American two wolves, because when you listen to that, there's no barbed wire, right? You just and you take it in, and you listen to the truths. So even for Buddhist sutras, you listen to the truths of sharing. You listen to how even in my family, we don't look at everybody equally, right? My mother's here. She didn't care about all of you. She cared about me. That's why I like her. That's why I invited her today, right? So all of us have these kind of connections, and we have this kind of attachment to our own families. And so this is why when we come to our funerals and memorials, I try to emphasize that the people we lose are recognizable aspects of this infinite reality that we're connected to. Family is important, but through them we see more and more into this infinite that we are calling Amida. Okay? So if you look at one generation, two generations, parents are easy, siblings are easy, grandparents are easy. You get to great-grandparents, maybe you met them, maybe you never saw them in your life. 4 generations, it's just a blur. You might share the name, but you don't know the face. You don't know much. Never met them, never spent too much time, right? So as you go on to 5, 6, 7, 8 generation, it's blur, right? And not blur to nothing, but a blur to this infinite reality. Namo Amida Butsu. And you connect to each of them, and you connect to this reality. And this is what grounds our lives. When we lose someone, we call them a Buddha, not because they became enlightened, but because they extend our awareness to beyond ourselves, beyond our own family. And this growth is what Buddhism provides to us. Okay. So I would like to close this with this quote. Please listen. Joro Shinshu does not look upon Obon as a time when the souls of our ancestors return, or that the services offering, offerings, dancing, lights are for the benefit of one's dead relatives. It is rather the time to remember and honor all those who have passed on before us. It is to appreciate all that they have done for us and to recognize the continuation of their deeds upon our lives. Obon is a time for self-reflection, an important Buddhist practice, for it is only when man becomes aware of his imperfections and insufficiency in contrast to his ideals that religion becomes a matter of personal concern. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message and the story of Moggallana and the origin of Obon. Please stand for the Gatha Ondok-san on page 220. Okay, thank you for all those who helped with the altar preparations and with the service. Thank you, Reverend Fujimoto, for your message. Thank you, Brian, for the YouTube setup, and our organist, Lenny, and Jane Naito for doing the altar flowers, and for any special altar offerings. I have a number of announcements to make right now. Next Sunday, July 28th, is the family service, and ask Reverend Dennis. Sunday, August 4th, we have a Shotsuki memorial service and the atomic bomb memorial service. The ABWA clothing drive drop-off dates are Saturday and Sunday, August 3rd and 4th, and Friday, August 9th from 11 to 4. On Sunday, August 11th, we have the Bishop's Memorial Service and Birthday Sunday. The Bishop's Memorial Service is to acknowledge the lives and efforts of the past bishops of the Buddhist Churches of America, and it is through the vision and leadership that our Jodo Shinshu tradition and temples have taken root here in America. And this year, the BCA is celebrating their 125th anniversary, so we have a lot to be thankful for. There's no service on August 18th and 19th. On Sunday, September 1st, there's no service here in Alameda. However, there will be a BCA 125th anniversary service online. And we encourage our members to come to the temple to watch it together on the big screen. It is from 10 a.m. Also on Sunday, September 1st, the ABA meeting is following the BCA service. And the last announcement, on Sunday, September 8th, is the American Bon Dancing Festival, and I'm going to ask Jane Nigel if you'd like to come up and talk a little bit more about that because she's has a lot more information about that. Thank you.
Hello. I want to let everybody know that the American Obon exhibit is now open. It's at the National Japanese American Museum in Japantown on Post Street. And it's open Monday through Friday from noon to 5 and the first Saturday of every month. And the exhibit shows how Obon dance came to America in the 1930s and how it progressed, pre-war. And also there's footage from the camps and also footage there of Obon dancing on Treasure Island during the expo and then up to current day Obon dancing. So I encourage everybody to go see the exhibit. And then also in addition to that, as Hiko mentioned, on September 8th, Sunday after service, there is an Obon dance at Yerba Buena. It's going to be similar to what they did for the Women's Convention back in 2019, where there'll be hundreds of people dancing Obon dance from all over the Bay Area. So it's from 1 to 3 o'clock on September 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Are there any other announcements?
I will have,
Okay, Sensei?
I have a final one.
Okay.
Before we close with Oshoko, we're going to play the video of Lantern Song one last time so we can watch this Lantern Song when I step away from the mic. Brian, you can turn off the recording, and then just for this group here, we'll watch and listen to Lantern Song one more time.